You are listening to the Bright Life Podcast, all about ways to stay inspired, chase your dreams, and find more gratitude in the highs and lows of the journey. I'm your host, Jessica Johnson. I'm a business owner, a part-time digital nomad, a self-growth junkie, a believer in other big-hearted women, and am all about sharing tips, tricks, lessons learned, and encouragement so we can all live our biggest, brightest lives. You ready? Let's do this. Hey girl, hey, and welcome to today's episode. This episode is meant to fire you up. So if you have this dream on your heart that you have been planning and strategizing and thinking about, and you've been consuming content and watching videos, and you have yet to take the leap, today, I want to challenge you that the time is now, that you are ready. You are more ready than you think. And the only way to get out there and to know what will work is to take action. And so I hope that this inspires you and really challenges you and leaves you walking away feeling like, okay, you can do this. Now, first of all, I want to have compassion because I remember that stage before I started my business. I was in corporate America and everyone's teachers will be a little different, right? So for me, I would constantly watch YouTube videos online. I had a few books from authors like Gabby Bernstein that I was reading. I was just absorbing everything I could get my hands on to learn how to do marketing or business planning or think through all the things that I didn't really know about, right? That I had to really imagine creating for myself. And all of those things absolutely were so helpful. They certainly played their part and they helped me I have an idea for what I would even create and who I would be talking to, and they gave me so much confidence in getting out there. But they also kept me kind of staying behind the scenes, right? And on the one hand, maybe I was building up the nerve, but on the other hand, I also wasn't taking action yet. I was also feeling like I was making forward progress because I was consuming content and learning, but it wasn't until I actually got out there and gave my notice to my employer and started my business and started getting feedback that I really was in the game. And so if any of you are listening, and when I think about what to record for these episodes, I think, what do my people need to hear today? And this is what occurred to me today. And so I just know that there's probably some of you out there who are also thinking through everything. And maybe like me, you are planners and you want to have everything mapped out ahead of time. And that gives you a lot of security and confidence. So I get that. But there will come a time when you have to take that first scary step. And here's one thing that would have really helped me in understanding is that the more you consume, that first scary step doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any less scary. At some point, you will still be at that crossroads and you will still have to decide to take that leap and take that step scared. Okay? And you can do it today. You can do it next week. You can do it a year from now or 10 years from now, but wouldn't you rather get out there and know? Wouldn't you rather get out there and at least start getting your first clients or figuring out what works and what doesn't? Wouldn't you rather learn things along the journey of the next year versus being at the starting line a year from now? There's this amazing quote that says, a year from now, you'll wish you had started today. And I fully believe that because I look back on all the things that I've learned on this entrepreneurial journey. And they weren't all easy. Many of them were very challenging. Many of them were even scarier than I thought they would be. But standing where I am today, I'm so glad that I started this journey years ago. I'm so glad that I went through all those things so that now, years in, I'm going through different challenges, right? And I'm scaling different types of projects and I'm reaching for different levels. And just knowing that that's part of the journey, like the entrepreneurial journey, it will be full of those things. But wouldn't you rather be a year ahead than always waiting at that starting line and pushing it back further and further and further the rest of your life? right? You will have to take that scary step sometime if you want to get off the sidelines and into your dreams. Another thing that I like to share with people is that you really only learn from taking action. So while you can consume content and videos and read books, and all that certainly helps, like all of that enriches your life, all of that teaches you new ways of thinking about things, all of that supports you. The truth is, it won't be until you get into the game that you start to learn what actually works for you. So let me give you an example to give you a little bit more of a concrete picture here. I'm thinking of even my first business, which was in health coaching. I had everything mapped out. I strategized on what kind of customers I thought I would resonate with the most and what my pricing would be and what my products would look like. But it wasn't until I actually got out there that I started to realize whether my pricing worked, that I started to realize if I liked working in a certain niche, if I had trouble selling myself, and if I had some money mindset to work on that I didn't even realize because I wasn't out there actually selling before, right? I started to realize where I needed to build my confidence in being able to mentor people and even in being visible. Like I started to realize, oh my gosh, it's really scary sometimes to post vulnerably on social media. And all of that stuff I couldn't actually become aware of and couldn't actually feel and begin to truly work through until I was out there in the game, right? And I know that there's so many fears around like, what will happen, right? And will you be able to make money? And what will other people think? But one thing that really helped me was this realization that once you get into it, you will be so amazed at what you can handle. And anything that feels scary is an opportunity for you to heal and to work through something and to really experience that evolution as a human, right? And so one day, a year from now, you will look back and you'll think about the visibility things that scared you before, and you'll be this woman who has become someone who can show up confidently on social media and who knows how to work through those times when fear creeps in, right? You may now at this moment be scared of the finances and what it will look like, but if you get out there a year from now, you will have become a woman who knows how to manage her money mindset and who knows how to manage her finances and who will have figured it out and who will have gotten the support she needs to do it. So I hope that becomes exciting almost as this invitation of, for all the things that you don't know how to do, for all the fears that you have, for all the things you don't know how to figure out, a year from now, you get to become a woman who knows how to navigate those things. You get to become a woman who feels confident in those things. You get to become someone who is more resourceful than you can imagine right now, and who is more tenacious, and who is more confident, and who is more embodied, and who is more in her power. And so that alone can be a reason to begin, right? Because this entrepreneurial journey, it's about business, sure, but it's also about who you get to become, and how exciting that every single year of this journey you get to become a more full, more healed, more whole version of yourself, because you will have worked through things at every turn and you will realize you are capable of that. All right, so I know that strategies and business plans and all those things, they're helpful. They're great to work through. They're great to process ahead of time and to have a plan. But if you're listening to this and you are feeling like you might be in this holding pattern, and you might be more in consumption mode, right? Of consuming content versus actually taking the leap and getting out there and getting feedback and finding what works and finding what doesn't, because they're all a gift. Here is a pep talk that you're ready. You're ready. And to get a different result and to get a different outcome, you have to do a different thing. Okay, so whatever you've been doing is great, but if you want to start earning an income, if you want to start getting your first clients, if you want to start experiencing whatever your version of your dream life looks like, you're going to have to take a different action than you've ever taken to get there. You're going to have to take a step that feels scary, and it will never feel less scary with more information. It will always just take feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And if anything, I just hope that you know that you are big enough to handle that, that it may be scary, but you can handle the emotion of fear. Like you can handle the emotion of nerves. You can sit still and you can take deep breaths and you can feel those emotions rise in your body and know that you are still bigger and you can handle whatever they are. And there's support if you feel like you can't. I mean, I lean on coaches and mentors and communities and masterminds and therapists and all the things to support me in that, right? And so you can absolutely do the same. It's not saying you have to do it alone, and definitely don't if it feels overwhelming. Like that's what we're all here for, to support each other, right? And help each other out. But just stepping into that belief that you are ready. You are capable. You are as ready now as you will ever be. That the fear isn't a stop sign. It doesn't mean don't proceed. It really just is part of the journey. It really just is part of becoming bigger than you've ever been and more visible than you've ever been and braver than you've ever been and going for something that you've never gotten. That fear is going to be part of your journey. But over time, it will start to feel more like this passenger that sits in the back seat or that speaks up because you know it's trying to keep you safe and comfortable, right? But you can kind of just look at it with that loving lens instead of looking at it like the authority or something that you truly have to give much credence to. And that's kind of where I'm at now, where I always come up against these new things and the fear feels so strong, right? And I just gently kind of look at it and I see what it's trying to show me, and reframe it to something that's more empowering and move through anyway. And that's how you really lessen it. It's not, you don't lessen fear by not taking action. You lessen fear by taking action and proving that you can handle it and that you can show up and you can create this amazing life for yourself. And that's a final piece of it I'll leave with you is like, you don't just go and feel the fear and move through it and that's the only reward. The reward is the life that you're dreaming of. The reward is the business you want to create or the creative project that you want to put out in the world, and the pride and satisfaction and fulfillment and joy from seeing that thing start to have a life in the world and starting to have people message you and say you made a difference in my life, right? And starting to see a paycheck come in that you went out and earned yourself. And starting to realize that you're earning beyond an income potential that you ever thought possible, or that you're able to travel now working from anywhere, or that you're able to just live whatever your dream is like, that your message is out in the world. That's the reward, right? So just remembering that that's part of it too, is like, you're not getting out there just to move through the fear and to prove you can do it. You're getting out there because what's on the other side of it is worth it. Is worth showing up and moving through the things holding you back and overcoming your doubts and becoming this bigger, braver version of yourself. Because your life gets to look completely different as a result, and because the woman you become is a completely different woman on the other side, right? So for anyone who's listening, who's in that holding pattern or that waiting zone, who's on the sidelines and knows it, take a different action today. Sign up for that course, for mentorship. Sign up for the deadline when you actually send in your work or hit publish, right? Go and buy the website domain. Announce it to your social media network or your community. Go to an event. Do whatever actually moves you out of that planning stage and into some action, right? That you've never taken before, that feels scary, because that risk is going to have a comparable reward on the other side, and it will be so, so worth it. And remember where we started. A year from now, you will be so grateful to this woman who started today. I hope this encourages you. Send me a message, DM me, let me know what you're going to take action on. I'm here to support you and hold you through it. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope this encourages you and inspires you to get out there and put your art and your heart and your message into the world. We're all waiting and we're all excited to see it. If this episode resonated with you, I have 2 things you are going to love. One is a Bright Life workbook full of practices you can use to get clear on what your version of your brightest life looks like and fearlessly move towards it every day. And another is a copywriter starter kit full of beginning steps to create a copywriting business that gives you the freedom to travel the world working from anywhere, to replace a corporate salary as your own boss, and to do creative work that lights you up every day. It's lessons I've learned in creating my own content business, and I'm excited to share it with you if you're curious about doing the same. I will link these in the show notes. I hope these serve you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you back here next week as we all pursue our biggest, brightest lives together.